6811. And I am joined here in the studio with Mr. Craig Olson from the Hayward Area School District. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well, recovering from the weekend. Did a lot of walking this weekend that I normally wouldn't do. I was sharing with you that, normally on the Berkey, we're staying in one place at the end of Fifth Street and Maine, and we just stay in one place. Boy, with the Berkey kind of spread out in one little area and the start finish at the same place, I was walking around a lot more than I normally had, and we usually would have 5 or 6 volunteers with us as well, and that didn't happen this year. So it was pretty interesting experience.
Yeah, it sounded like when you were talking to me earlier that it was a unique experience that you haven't had before with traditional Berkey. So out of everyone's comfort zone, but I heard it went really well. And
it did.
At the school, it seemed like it went really well with people getting the registration. So
I'm not sure how the experience was for the skiers, but logistically looking at the big picture, I thought it was very well done, very well organized. They were, thrown a lot of lemons, and they made some great lemonade with what they had. So it turned out to be really good. Hopefully next year we can go back to normal.
That would be very nice. That would be very nice for everyone involved.
Whatever normal is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, talk about some things that you wanted to share about what's happening at the school district, and I'll let you have the mic.
Sounds good. Yeah, first thing is our building project update. We actually moved into our new district office last week, Monday and Tuesday. So that I did the official address change. So that's official now. That's a new site of our district office. High school office staff and administrative staff will be moving in the next 2 weeks. And it's all kind of in one building. So
I was going to say they're kind of in the same area as the district staff is.
It's all hooked up. There's some dividers and walls that separate district office from high school. But basically, it's one big office building. Right. So they'll start that process. Our middle school and intermediate school, the design development stages are complete there. So we're doing a lot with our fixture, furnitures, and equipment. Getting that all finalized. Our guaranteed maximum pricing is all in through all of our bids. Kraus Anderson did a great job again, just like they did with high school and primary school.
Amazing.
Timing of that all worked out very well. So yeah, this June 5th is talking about Berkey, and it's facing some adversity. Last year it was crazy with the building project going on both at the high school and primary school. The primary school will be completed and done. But this year we'll have 3 buildings on June 5th under construction. The intermediate school, the middle school, and then phase 3 of our high school. So yeah, but everything's on track, going very well. A lot of pieces put together, but it's going well.
Right.
On that same token, just looking at what we're doing with the community, we interviewed for community ed director's position for that person. We did that last week, 2 rounds of interviews. Hopefully we'll be making a selection before the next board meeting. And then once that person's on board, really starting the planning stages of how our community ed program is going to look. How we're going to utilize our facilities, not just our athletic facilities, but also we have a really great culinary arts section. We talked a little bit earlier about what we can do with our CT and technology. How do we get people into our tech labs, both for STEM, 3D printers, but also maybe there's a construction class people would like. So just starting to put that together. Obviously, we're not going to be able to have 100 classes right off the bat, but it's something the community hasn't seen in a while, and what classes are important to the community, and try to get those rolling. So that director's position getting hired will be a big one.
I'll be there with my media technology classes if
we are going to be looking for instructors, and you are on the list, Mr. Lindeen. You're on the list. So that's the building project update. School safety, one of our 3 pillars that we wanted to use this building project for was student safety, and that technology and training is all in place. I'm now working with our local law enforcement agencies and how all of our technology and security systems are tying in with them. So they have complete access to all of our mapping, all of our security doors, all of our lock systems, just the same as we do. So that process is, I would say, halfway to 3/4 of the way done. When we look at doing another community-wide active shooter drill or training, I guess, that'll be interesting to see what this new technology is, because that was one of the things we are lacking before. It was still up to date and probably better than most, but we have right now. It's top of the line.
Now, is that going to cause some sort of a new building entry system for most of the schools as far as, the primary, intermediate, and high school? How people get into the building to have a visit with one of the principals or a teacher? How does that
No,
work?
we've had that for a while now, where
Okay.
we've had once the school day starts, we have everything locked down.
Yeah.
This will just be with better camera systems and better locking systems, and it changes a little bit for our staffing with the badging, with the badge codes.
Okay.
Rather than keypads, it's all badge systems. You can't see it, but like this
You got
stuff.
yours?
Yeah. So just the badging system will change for staff access, but for the community, not too much. District office right now is somewhat a debacle because the high school's admin team and secretaries aren't in there yet. So we have signs saying you got to get back through this office to get to the district office because the sidewalk can't be poured yet because of all the mud. So
Yeah.
by the end of this summer, it'll be good. But it will look a lot different this year, starting June 5th, when 3 of our buildings are under construction. I mean, just even packing up our library materials.
Yeah.
I mean, last year it was 1 library that needed to be packed up. This year it's 3. So there'll be a lot to do with moving here in the next couple months, getting things packed up.
And you might have it on your list, but I was going to ask, at the high school level, how's the athletic facility, the field house, and I saw videos of the weight gym moving in, and everything's operating there?
Not operating.
Okay.
We got the equipment in, the floor was laid, we got the equipment in, and all that is again with all the construction things and deliveries, it's timing of that. We still need to get occupancy permits.
Okay.
Our cardio equipment's not in yet. The track isn't laid yet. The floor isn't laid. That'll all be
Okay.
happening in the next couple months. So rather than trying to piecemeal that together, we want to do it the right way. And right now, realistically, we couldn't get people in there. It's still under construction. But
Sure.
the weights are in the new athletic facility. They
Any
got
proposed
installed.
Summer opening for that, or are you going to wait till fall?
I'm saying fall, but I think I could underpromise and overdeliver that. I think by the time 4th of July gets rolling, I think we'll be okay. But
Yeah.
I'm telling everybody, for the start of the 24-25 school year in September, our
Sure.
community ed classes should be going, and
Right.
then our community fitness centers and all of those things. So
Okay.
that would be a realistic goal.
Yeah. Very cool. Yep.
And that's kind of what I had for my report. The rest of the board meeting, we talked about our school calendar. We got that developed for our 25-25 or 24-25 school year. Looks very similar to last year, with our talent development days for new teachers starting on that August 19th. First day of class starting on September 5th, ending on that June 4th. So looks very
Okay.
similar. Not a lot we can do different with that. So we got that approved. We approved the official address change for the Hayward Community School District
Yep.
office.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about a letter of resignation from Taylor Kunkel, Catherine Christian. We did get a hire. That's a big one for us. And I think the last time we talked, we were missing a tribal community school liaison.
Oh yeah.
And we got Laura Taylor hired on.
Okay.
So Laura Taylor has started with us. When I saw her and sent her the congratulations, I thought it seemed like she's been on the team forever, as much as she's been involved in the school, but
Yeah.
she's in an official capacity now. So that's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah. Very cool. I noticed that there was a financial report from Dr. Harry Malcolm for the 24-25 school budget. You're looking at taking $3.38 million from the district fund balance and applying that to more of the capital projects and operations.
Yeah, and not so much for the capital projects, but more for
Okay.
operations. We'll be able to save some from our building project. Like I said, with Kraus Anderson and Jenny Frank, our business manager, doing the timing and their hard work paid off with the selling of the bonds and getting low bid prices. But just looking at declining enrollment, and the hopes were during COVID, when we had the ESSER funding, that we obviously weren't going to be looking at doing any cuts at that point, because our kids didn't have a real good crack at anything the first 2 years of COVID.
Yeah.
Trying to get them caught up with interventionists and things like that. And the state budget, even though it did assist us getting up to $11,000 per pupil, which was an increase for Hayward, it didn't equate from what the ESSER dollars were to what the IDM budget could provide us. So looking at long term, we have a 62% fund balance, and that's the route we're looking at going, at least for that first little bit. So
Yeah. And then I asked you what the possibility is of looking for additional funds for operations in maybe 25-26. Is there any, future casting a couple of school years away?
Yeah, I mean, we've had zero talk of an operational referendum. I know most districts around the state, especially in Northwest Wisconsin, are talking that way, doing something in April. We've not had that discussion. I don't see that discussion happening for a while.
Yeah.
If ever, and just really working with our legislators to have them understand what the state budget and the impact that could have on all the schools, not Hayward, but just all the schools in general.
Yeah.
And that gets so political, and you never know how that budget's going to turn out. But I mean, I think it was a step in the right direction this year, with the increase, but also in the same token, it sure didn't supplant what ESSER funding we're doing. So
Yeah.
we have some time, and I think that's the nice part of where we're at in the Hayward School District, is looking at that fund balance of being in that above 60% and having a new building project with all of our deferred maintenance items taken care of. It gives us a little bit of time to see what's going to happen. And also,
Sure.
I mean, there is declining enrollment. We have more seniors graduating than we do kindergartners coming in and 4K coming in.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just part of the nature of this.
And does that decline the population in the area, or do you think COVID and private school?
No, I don't see that. I mean, talking to Doc Malcolm and even just looking at local census data, there's just less babies being born right now in general. So our open enrollment numbers are still way to the positive, 260 plus coming into the district and a couple leaving the district. So it's just less kids coming into school being born than more kids that are graduating. So
yeah, the baby boom is over.
That's right. That's right. and I think that when you look at that, and you look at some of the, the Hayward School District is one of the bigger entities, the hospital, Arkland, some of those companies, there's a lot of people that housing still continues to be an issue of when people want to move in the area. And you mentioned Adam Lemoria and Sawyer County Economic Development that we're both on. That comes up every one of our meetings is, okay, sounds good. I think we're doing a great job recruiting. And I think our pay is good. I mean, across the whole Hayward area, but where we lose people is when you try to find a housing that fits for them and their families and they're not there. So I think economic development's doing a great job working with that and trying to get some more affordable housing for people.
And speaking of that, I know we talked about that in our board meeting. The hospital has some property just to the south of it that development should be starting this spring.
Correct.
For some more professional housing. I don't know how to classify that, but it's good worker housing.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. And again, when you look at, we can say declining enrollment because that's the data that shows us that. It's hard to predict and have a crystal ball with a housing development like that, with that coming. What will that do for enrollments and things like that, and population of the Hayward area in general?
Sure.
So, sure, it's not going to hurt anything.
Professionals coming with kids, or are they going to have kids here? Yep. You just don't know.
Don't know what it is.
Can't predict that.
Yep.
So, wow. Well, very good. I think that covers a lot. Thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it and sharing your insights, and we'll look forward to all the improvements that continue on, and hope we have a good spring.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Craig. All right. We'll return to some music.